In the last lesson, we checked out a whole lot of different vehicles. We were looking at a whole list of possible distribution channels, ways for you to reach your potential customers and collectors. In this lesson, we're going to be defining the route or the path that we're going to take to get there. So last lesson was the vehicle. This lesson, we're picking out our route. And in order to do that, I've got an exercise for you. So I want you to download that workbook, pause the video, and then dive back in. Go do that right now. So in looking at identifying our routes or path for artistic success, the first step in that process is to realize that multitasking is a myth. Our ability to multitask is very, very, very limited. In fact, it doesn't exist. When we try to do multiple things at one time, we end up doing nothing well. And the reason for that is something known as context switching. When we move from one project to the next without finishing it all the way to completion, our brain actually has to back up and restart again when it switches to the next project. It is far more beneficial to follow one path all the way to completion than to try to bring 3 or 4 related paths along at the exact same time. So step 1 of this exercise is to write down all of the paths that you're currently taking. Ones that you were starting or had thought about doing before the course started, and the 3 that you identified in the last lesson. Write them all down here on the dashed lines provided. Pause the video, do that, and then come back. So having focus by picking just one route is going to lead to flow. Focus leads to flow. Flow state is where that you become so in tune with what you're doing that you lose track of time. You are so much more effective, efficient, and aligned when you're working in flow state. So I want you to pick one path and make sure you have that written down. And then in step 3, I want you to think about what you can do once that path or route is completed to make it sustainable or even automated before you go to the next one. What can you do to make that route take less work? So we're going to dive down to just that one route, and we're going to make sure it's in alignment, and we are going to make sure that we can make it sustainable.